In a new interview, the former Donald Trump national security advisor, Michael Flynn, says that COVID was intentionally released by people like George Soros, Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, and others in order to further their goal of ruling the world and controlling humanity. And defeating Donald Trump, of course. We're going to look at a little bit of this. This is from InfoWars. And here's what I really want you to think about as you watch this and listen to this. This man was the national security advisor of the United States at one point. And that one point was not that long ago. It was just a few years ago. And this is what he is now saying. Now, I also want you to think about, is he out of his mind or is he grifting and doesn't believe this stuff? I actually have an opinion. But I'm going to tell you after we look at the clip. Is this for real or is he grifting? That's the question.
The World Health Organization, which has come into the news quite a bit because of all this COVID stuff and the responses. But all of these global organizations, the United Nations is another one. All these global organizations, they see themselves, and those that are sort of even above them, they see themselves as, this is how we can rule the world. This is how we can control societies. This is how we can control humanity. So let's introduce something called COVID.
Introduce.
And they did it for a couple of reasons. One of the big reasons was to steal an election. I mean, if the Democrats, worked as hard on foreign policy as they worked on stealing the elections, maybe we would be better off. But
now, the counter to that, of course, is if Donald Trump had just dealt with COVID well, he would have sailed to re-election like so many other world leaders did. So COVID hurt Trump because he failed, but many world leaders succeeded and sailed to easy re-elections.
So there's there's a lot of things here going on. But yes, these are globalist organizations. These are world organizations. And when you start to look at, who is directing them and who is leading them, there are real people behind that. And Schwab is one. You got George Soros. You have the Arabella Group. I mean, these are real things. These are led by real people who have placed themselves. Gates is another one, who have placed themselves above some of these world institutions, and they drive them. They really do drive them. So
this is just about the craziest, most unhinged hypothesis anyone could come up with about COVID and Soros and Gates and Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum. Now, again, without a doubt, the mental illness explanation would surface here, right? Any more or less normal person who watches this would consider, is this a propaganda spreader or is this a psychotic break? And when you see weaponized Trumpism, it can be genuinely difficult to discern conspiracism from someone experiencing a psychotic break. That's a reality. It's quite a reality. And we saw that in the clips of the people being interviewed at the Trump rally in the last segment. But I think that Flynn is grifting. I think Flynn is definitely grifting here. That's my instinct. I believe that Michael Flynn is doing this to drum up. I mean, listen, where is he going to get support? He is obviously not going to get it from the sane left. You might find some wacky people on the left, supposedly on the left, like, I'm not even going to name people, but some of the usual suspects that have sort of gone off the deep end on the left, maybe they would see someone like Flynn and be like, this guy's willing to tell the truth. But basically, the left is not going to support him. The establishment right is not going to support him because even though he was pardoned, this guy was convicted. He did absolutely horrible things. So much of the right's not going to support him either. So the potential constituency for someone like Michael Flynn to make money from and to get speaking gigs is going to be the QAnon type conspiracy theorist. So my instinct is that he's wacky, but that he doesn't believe this stuff and that this is a grift. The crazy part, though, is that there are many people who will watch this and hear him talk about it, and they'll go, yeah. George Soros is responsible for COVID. That makes a lot of sense to me. They'll nod along to it, and that's an extraordinarily disturbing thing. One of our longtime sponsors is Vincero Collective. I love Vincero's watches. You've heard me talk about them before. They now offer sunglasses and a bunch of other premium accessories for men and women. Vincero is committed to creating exceptionally crafted watches and accessories and doing so ethically. Fair pricing, carbon neutrality. Vincero puts their principles first, which is important to me. I just picked up the Rogue from Vincero in gunmetal and red. I love the intricate design on the watch face and the multiple subdials. The durable black silicone strap looks great with just about anything I'm wearing. In all of Vincero's products, whether it's the watches, the glasses, men's or women's, you can just see and feel the quality. So if you want to elevate your look, or you want to find the perfect Valentine's Day gift for that special someone, pick something up at Vincero. Vincero Collective is giving my audience 15% off all products and free shipping. Go to vincerocollective.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman. The link is down below.